Washington Pod presents Earl Nightingale.
After reading Cloud Hidden, Whereabouts Unknown by Alan Watts, I ordered some of his other books, and on my recent flying trip to the West Coast, I read his The Wisdom of Insecurity. I think it bogs down some toward the end of the book, but he makes a couple of points in the beginning which make the book an excellent investment. One of them is that security and safety do not exist during our life on Earth. Looking for security or safety is like trying to hold your breath for 10 minutes. It's an impossible quest. But that impossible quest is what keeps so many millions living in a state of strained tension and running as fast as they can from month to month trying to lay hold of a phantom. We are completely secure in the universe. We're as secure in our atomic structure as anything else, a rock or a gas. As the rocket scientist Wernher von Braun has said, as far as living energy is concerned, there can be no death. But during our lives as we know them, the search for security and safety is patently ridiculous. And the best thing we can do in our quest for freedom is to get rid of these myths once and for all. In doing so, we'll know a wonderful new feeling of ease and freedom. It's like taking a deep breath and letting it out with a rush. The other day, a car came speeding through the busy intersection on one corner of which stands the building in which I have my office. He tried to beat the light, failed to do so, and was rammed in the middle of the intersection by a car proceeding on the green. He didn't have his seatbelt fastened, and the jolt of the other car hitting him amidships threw him across the seat to the other side of the car. Then, at high speed, with no one at the wheel, his car rammed into our building, knocking quite a hole in our decorative marble and doing extensive damage to the car. Well, it was fortunate that there were no pedestrians on the sidewalk at that time. Normally, there would have been at that time of day. 3 or 4 people could easily have been killed or seriously maimed. I could have been. There's not a moment of the day or night in which any one of us could not be brought to a sudden end as far as this life is concerned. Therefore, there is no safety. Howard Hughes, hiding in his penthouse, could die of a heart attack or stroke at any time. This fact rules out security and safety. They do not exist on Earth, and the best thing we can do is forget about them and revel in the new freedom, the new release from phony bondage that being concerned about these ancient bugaboos brings about. In our society, the chances are good that any one of us will live a long and normal lifespan. It's the mark of intelligence to plan for such a life and to make every reasonable effort to succeed in the 3 major departments of our lives, in our family lives, in the way in which we spend our days, and to provide for sufficient income to meet our present and future needs. But other than that, we should eliminate all concerns about trying to play it too safely. Now, I like to sail, as I mentioned. When I'm sailing alone, I wear a safety harness at all times. As I move about the boat adjusting the sails, I have my harness snapped to something on the boat so that should I fall or be knocked over the side, I won't find myself treading water and watching my boat sail over the horizon. That's simply good judgment. Accidents and injuries are 60% more likely to the person who doesn't use his automobile seatbelt. Using one is a sign of intelligent judgment, as is locking the doors of our homes when we turn in for the night. The man who ran the red light and rammed our building was a fool, and he's paying for his immaturity. And we've all made silly, unnecessary blunders, and we should avoid them whenever possible. To forget about security and safety does not imply the rejection of good judgment. What it does imply is a mature and realistic rejection of factors which, as they are pursued by most of us, simply do not exist. And we move toward freedom when we put them where they belong.